Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I just wanted to take you through my experiences of both the Disney Wish and the Disney Fantasy. Which one was better? So I just wanted to talk a little bit about my unbelievable cruise adventure that is just coming to an end. I am sitting on the Fantasy right now. It's my last day. I'm so sad. I don't even want to talk about it. But I just wanted to say, I just had an incredible experience, which is I got to experience what I think many people would say are the two best ships in the Disney cruise fleet. And I had two completely different experiences, both absolutely spectacular. So it's very hard to compare and contrast, but I'm gonna do it. So let's do it. Okay, so now is the bittersweet time where we are coming to the end of our Disney cruise adventure. It has been so spectacular, absolutely exceeded expectations, and expectations were very high on this one. But I have to say, it's just been really fun and interesting to sort of compare and contrast the two different ships. They are very different, and both have unbelievable pros and, definitely some misses in terms of differences and things I liked better than other things, but it's really so subjective to what it is that you like to do. And I think the interesting thing about cruising, and I keep saying this to my fiance because he comes from family and friends, and most of them have never cruised, and they're just like, that doesn't sound like fun. And it's literally something that can't be described. So just cruising in general to me is so unbelievably unique as a vacation and can't really be compared to anything else. Waking up every morning with this view of the water going by and the rocking of the boat, and then the fact that you're most likely either at sea or you're in a different place every time you wake up in the morning, and you only have to unpack once. But then on top of it, just all of the fun activities and finding what it is that you like to do on a cruise is so epically important. So that being said, this is a very subjective opinion that I have based on what I adore, what I love to do, the name of my channel. We've sort of found out what we love to do on this cruise and what we're drawn to. Now, obviously I'm a huge foodie, so the food part was very important to me, and I had sort of planned that out. Experiencing Enchanté, experiencing Remy, experiencing Palo, those were three absolute must-dos for me. So I'm just going to get into detail a little bit as to what my favorite things were, what I would recommend, and a couple of the misses. So first off, comparing ships, it's really apples and oranges. They're both absolutely gorgeous. There's no comparison between the Fantasy and the Wish. They're very different, and they both have their hits and they both have their misses. So one of the big differences between the Fantasy and the Wish ship, in terms of the way that we experienced our cruise, was we stayed concierge level on both ships. And I will say that the concierge look and feel of the room, specifically, the woodwork, the aesthetic, the fantasy blows the Wish out of the water, in my opinion. We stayed in room 12,004. We are literally right next to, connected to the Walt Disney Suite, which is the big, huge monster suite that hopefully we'll have someday. But the look of this is so rich. It's so elegant. It's very high class. It looks extremely expensive. It's absolutely beautiful. We were blown away by the woodwork in here and the luxurious sort of couch, and just the whole look of it is really, really beautiful. The Wish room felt a lot more like what a normal stateroom I think would be. It definitely did not have this high-end classic look to it. It didn't look luxurious. It was very pretty, very pretty. I loved the princess aspects to it, and I had Rapunzel, which I love. But this room is really, it feels very luxurious, definitely. So I would say, hands down, the Fantasy Concierge staterooms are beautiful and way prettier next compared to the Wish. But then the flip side of that is there is no question that nothing compares to the Wish Concierge Lounge. That double-decker lounge, first of all, it's like 4 times the size. I mean, it's absolutely huge. It takes up the whole back of the boat on that floor, and it's just stunning. It's stunning. It's a place where you want to sit, you want to relax, you want to hang out there. Unfortunately, this concierge lounge on the Fantasy is very pretty, but it is super tiny. I think it has maybe 12 tables, which can get really tight at times. And there is no bar. They do serve you, of course, you know, I mean, they're amazing. The service is amazing on both ships. Let's just get that out of the way. But in terms of like the feeling of hanging out there, I mean, my fiance and I, of course, found like we loved playing Battleship out there, of course, as we do, and some checkers. And there was a lot of times where it was just totally empty. So it's actually very cozy. It's very quaint. But it is very small. But here's the real issue, in my opinion, for the Fantasy. The Fantasy Concierge Lounge deck portion, where you can sit outside, is completely covered and has no windows. So that's weird. So you can sit up there, but it feels like you're like not anywhere and you have no view. The hot tub is beautiful. The lounge chairs are beautiful, but there's no view. They've completely blacked out the windows, I guess, for privacy, but then it's weird because you don't see anything. I wouldn't spend any time up there. We went up there and I was like, yeah, no, this doesn't work for me. At all times when I'm on the ship, I really want to see the water, especially if I'm in the concierge lounge. So those are the huge, huge differences, in my opinion, of the concierge situation. Fantasy, 1,000,000,000% wins for the room part, and the Wish is hands down the winner for the lounge area. That's just my opinion. And of course, for service, I win, because service is unbelievable everywhere. You really do get to know these people, and they are so wonderful, so genuine, so incredibly helpful, and truly just feel like they really want you to have a good time. And what could be better? Okay, so now the food. So the food situation is very interesting to me. Again, it's like the Wish wins some, the Fantasy wins some. I would say 100% my favorite food experience altogether, with both ships included. Remy takes the cake. Remy absolutely takes the cake. But here's the surprise. I did Remy Brunch. I did Remy Dinner. I'm going to say the brunch was my absolute favorite. I don't know why. I loved it. Again, I think it's a lot to do with the view too. At night, you don't see anything. They have such an incredible place on the ship. They're in the back. You're overlooking everything. The tables are right up against the window. It is so romantic. It's so charming. Service, of course, unbelievable. But the food is absolutely spectacular. We loved every single thing we had at that brunch. So that was my absolute favorite meal. I would say then second, definitely Remy Dinner. Remy was my favorite. So basically, in terms of those high-end culinary adventurous restaurants, you have Remy on the Fantasy, and you have Enchanté, which we did as well on the Wish. And there's no comparison in terms of the romantic, sort of classic, warm atmosphere of Remy. We enjoyed that way more than we did Enchanté. Enchanté is absolutely gorgeous, but my fiance was correct in saying it felt like you were eating in a museum. It wasn't very romantic. I don't think it's very well lit. I know that sounds weird. It feels very bright, and Remy is dark and romantic, and like, it's almost cozy. I don't know. It's a feeling that you get when you're there. Of course, it's on me, but we had a wonderful meal in Enchanté. The food is very interesting, very unique. You have to be adventurous. Do not go in there thinking that's what you're normally going to get. Just have fun with it. All of these people I've been hearing, like, they're bagging on Enchanté. I just think they're not ready for the experience to be adventurous. Like, you don't want what you would normally get. Try something different and allow this amazing chef to serve it up. And that's what they do there. So, but I will say, I left Enchanté and I was not like, oh, I have to do this again. When I left Remy, I'm like, I have to do this again. And so, this was a big moment, but our last night on the ship, which is tonight, I don't know what to talk about it. We are going to do Remy again tonight. So it is absolutely such an experience, and I highly, highly recommend it. Now, here's the second favorite past Remy is Palo on the Fantasy. And again, this is an aesthetic visual thing of how different the look is and feeling of both Palos. So there's a Palo on the Fantasy, a Palo on the Wish. Palo on the Wish looks and feels very different. They both got these, sort of dark Italian Tuscan style atmospheres, and it's very Italian and wonderful. But there's something, again, that is just not romantic about the Palo on the Wish. I don't know what it is. We sat in these kind of red booths, which were just, it was okay. It was okay. And I wasn't blown away by the meal, honestly. Like, I've had amazing, amazing Italian food in my life. It was fine. It was fine. Now, the Palo on the Fantasy, way better atmosphere, just sort of visually the look of it. Obviously, the table's right up against the window, gorgeous placement on the ship. But again, my favorite meal at Palo was brunch. Oh my God. Don't even think twice about doing a brunch there. Even if you have your dinner, you must do brunch. I don't know what it is. Everything on that menu, the veal saltimbocca, we had the lasagna, we had this wild mushroom ravioli that was unbelievable. The bread, the Italian sausage pizza. I'm like so full just even talking about it. It was spectacular. That one I did twice. So that tells you a lot. I was like, we have to do this one again. And again, the service was incredible. I love the look on the Fantasy. So I'm going to say, food-wise, to me, for the high-end restaurants that you're going to pay extra for, the Fantasy wins. Now, for the rest of the restaurants, I'm going to be very honest. I only had a 3-day cruise, way too short, by the way, for the Wish. So I didn't get to try all of the rotational dining restaurants, but I did do, which is 100% my favorite rotational dining restaurant, which is basically what that means is it's the ones that are included. So, it's basically how they would just put you in there unless you want to do one of the extra ones. Arundel's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. It's an incredible show. It's so much fun. You totally get into it. The food is fantastic. It's really, really good. I absolutely loved it. Honestly, if we were on a longer ship, a longer cruise on the Wish, I would do that twice for sure. That's how much fun I had there. I did not get to try 1923, and I did not get to try whatever the other one is. I can't think of it. Anyway, I did not get to try the other two restaurants. But comparatively, on the Fantasy, we did eat at Animator's Palette. We ate at Enchanted Garden, and we did not eat at Royal Court because I became obsessed, as you know, with Remy. And so, as one should. So basically, I will say this. I was very disappointed in the rotational dining on the Fantasy only because of Arendelle, and I was expecting something like that. I had heard things about what Animator's Palette was, and I think it still is like this on the Magic or the Wonder. I'm not quite sure, but there was an experience that went on with Animator's Palette that does not exist anymore. Like the waiters change clothes, the colors change. Like Animator's Palette, like that was the point of it. That's the name of the restaurant. Now it's turned into, still called Animator's Palette, but it's just turned into basically Crush on screens, kind of bopping around and saying hello to families, which basically happened for, maybe 15 seconds, and we were right in front of a screen. Yeah, that was really unimpressive. So I was pretty shocked that there wasn't anything even remotely close to a dinner theater kind of thing. Like how spoiled I am. But like, I just kind of thought there might be like a little bit of an Arendelle equivalent here. There is not. So Animator's Palette, I would definitely not go back. Enchanted Garden, the food, no. And I did not eat at Royal Court. So, cause I looked at the menu honestly, and it just didn't look like it was for me. So yeah. And then we did, and here's the thing. You learn what you like on these cruises and make sure you do what you want to do. We got in a few days, this was a 7-day cruise, and we were both like, we're really full. We really don't feel like having dinner anymore. Like we were just like, let's just have snacks. By the way, the concierge again, and not that you need more reasons to try to be concierge and get that going. It's so spectacular. I mean, it really is. It's just, you have these great little snacks and little sandwiches throughout the day. And then at night you've got dessert. Oh my gosh. It's so lovely. So if you want to skip, dinner, which I would recommend on a night or two, just because you get so full, you can do that and either eat at the concierge lounge, or you can order room service, which is 24/7, which we discovered has really, really wonderful chicken tenders and grilled cheese. So there you go. Some little kid food served it up just fine as we went to bed early. So overall, I would say that it really is like some things were amazing on the Wish, some things were amazing on the Fantasy. Put them both together like I did, and you have absolute perfection and dream/fantasy vacation. It's just been incredible. It's really been incredible to experience these two ships and see what Disney has done. And they are at, in my opinion, the highest level of what you would want out of a cruise, in my opinion. Some of the most fun things that we did on both ships, we loved obviously playing trivia, and that was really, really fun. And I think that they really give you a really nice variety of like different fun things to do. And, when football's on, you can watch it on the funnel vision, and, there's movies going throughout. It felt like there was so much to do all the time. And we had 3 full days at sea. I actually didn't vlog yesterday, just because we just relaxed all day and just chilled and played trivia and played Battleship and like, played Battleship on a cruise ship. Yes, I know. Perfect. And so we just had so much fun. I did some shopping, and the stores are really cute on the ship. Obviously, it's all just Disney merch. It's nice stuff, though. It's like the stuff you probably can only get on the cruise line. So if you want to get something that's like DCL, I got myself a Tervis mug, of course, and a Disney Cruise Line, and a t-shirt. And I got, I'd say my favorite purchase. As you know, everyone was wearing bands because, the sea bands, seasick bands, so you don't get seasick, and they had glam ones. So yes, I got these. These are full on Wonder Woman bands, which I love. Like, they're so cute. I'd wear them on the land, even when I don't need them. So there's one thing you're not going to be on a cruise, especially a Disney cruise, and that's bored by any means. Like, and it's just like you'll come around a corner and like there's Cinderella, there's Belle, there's Snow White. Like, it's just so cool how much character action there is on this ship. I mean, it is nonstop. So if you or your kids love to see characters, this is another unbelievable opportunity, way better than the parks. And that's another thing. I was really thinking, as I was sort of playing back how much fun this was, it rivals the parks in a huge way. I feel so immersed in the Disney fun and magic and the Disney bubble, like being on this ship, because everyone's just in that mood. They're just in that great headspace, and there's so much character play. And oh my God, I can see Castaway Cay from here. Okay, so it's very difficult to compare and contrast these two ships, but here's what I would say. At the end of the day, if this is your first Disney cruise and you're going to go for it and you're like, which one do I do? Here's what I would say. If you're going to do Concierge, I would say absolutely spring for the Wish. The Concierge level on the Wish is so absolutely gorgeous. It is such an incredible experience. It's absolutely wonderful. And I think that the Wish really does have sort of the superior restaurants of the ship. In terms of its rotational dining, you've got the Marvel restaurant, you've got Arendelle, which is incredible, and 1923, which I didn't try, and I didn't try Marvel either. But they just look like really fun experiences. I'd say the rotational dining on the Fantasy is not so great. It's okay. It just wasn't entertaining, and the food is super mediocre at best. But if you are in it for a foodie experience and you want to have a culinary adventure and you want to eat the best of the best food and you want to have the most beautiful stateroom, Concierge level, I would say do the Fantasy. Remy is something to not be missed. Palo is incredible here, and this room is beyond. So I got really lucky because, I mean, this is a Christmas cruise. It is probably, the hardest cruise ever to get. I was like, but if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So I really splurged, and I'm very, very happy with my choice. So I would say if you can, do both, but if you're going to do one and you're going to start with one, I loved the fact that I started my first Disney cruise adventure ever with the Wish. That is an absolutely gorgeous ship. It's brand new. There's so much to be said for it, and especially if you're going to do Concierge, you will not be disappointed. So that is my take on the Disney cruises that I have taken just recently. So that is the Wish versus the Fantasy. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I know it's like very expensive, very big decisions to make when you are going to jump in. And also I want to say, like, if everyone you know has never done a cruise and they're like, meh, it sounds stupid, whatever, don't listen to them. Give it a shot. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. This has been so much fun. I can't imagine anyone coming off of any of these cruises and being disappointed. So that says a lot. They are both absolutely amazing. I'd say do them both if you can, but no matter what, have a wonderful, wonderful cruise. And maybe I'll see you on the boat.